Have you ever wondered why the people you love the most always seem to walk away? Why it feels like no matter how much love you give, no matter how deeply you care, they eventually leave, sometimes without reason, sometimes without closure. Chosen one, this message has reached you at the exact divine moment it was meant to. Because what you've been seeing as heartbreak, God has been using as transformation. You've been questioning your worth, your energy, and your purpose. But the truth is, people walk away not because you're unworthy, but because your spirit carries a frequency that not everyone is meant to walk with. Some are only assigned to your story for a short season, to awaken something inside you, to test your strength, or to trigger your growth. This message is going to change how you see everything. Every heartbreak, every goodbye, every person who left when you needed them most. Stay till the end, because I'm going to reveal why this painful pattern is not rejection, it's divine direction. Before we dive in, take a second and type 999 in the comments if you've ever felt abandoned by those you loved most. Like this video, share it with another chosen one who needs to hear this, and make sure you're subscribed and have the bell icon tapped. Let's begin this journey of revelation together. The spiritual truth behind separation. Chosen one, separation is one of the deepest and most misunderstood spiritual experiences a soul can go through. It is a sacred process wrapped in pain, confusion, and divine purpose. It is the invisible hand of God moving pieces on the board of your life, removing what you think you need so He can give you what your soul truly requires. Every person who walks away, every relationship that ends, every door that closes is not chaos. It's divine choreography. And if you are a chosen one, you will experience separation repeatedly because your destiny demands clarity. The truth is, separation is not about losing people, it's about losing illusions. God uses the pain of disconnection to peel away layers of attachment that keep you bound to what's temporary. It is through these moments of loss that He reveals the eternal. The people you love who suddenly drift away, the ones who betray you, ignore you, or simply fade into silence, they are not the cause of your suffering, they are the instruments of your awakening. Without them, you would never look inward, never seek God so deeply, never discover the strength hidden beneath your heartbreak. As a chosen one, your life is a spiritual battlefield where growth and comfort rarely coexist. You are chosen not because you are perfect, but because you are willing to be refined. And refinement requires fire. Separation is the fire that burns away your dependence on others, forcing you to rely solely on divine strength. It strips you of attachments to people, places, and identities that no longer serve your evolution. The loneliness that follows is not punishment, it's purification. In that silence, you begin to hear the voice of God more clearly. Many times, the divine separation comes disguised as heartbreak. Someone you love deeply begins to pull away. Their energy shifts, communication fades, and suddenly you find yourself alone, replaying memories, questioning your worth. But what you can't see is that God is answering a prayer you once whispered, "Lord, make me who I'm meant to be." And to fulfill that request, He must remove what distracts you from your divine path. Some people are simply not meant to walk with you into your next chapter. They were assigned to awaken you, not accompany you. The pain of separation feels unbearable because it challenges your human desire for control. You want to understand why it happened, how it could have been prevented, or what you did wrong. But spiritual truth rarely fits within human logic. God removes people not because they are evil, but because their time in your life has expired. Every soul that enters your journey carries a specific purpose, some to teach love, others to teach loss, and some to teach the power of letting go. When that lesson is complete, divine timing begins to shift the connection out of your reality, no matter how tightly you hold on. It's important to remember that not everyone you lose is an enemy. Some people's exit is an act of love written in your soul contracts long before you met. Their leaving triggers the very transformation you were destined to undergo. The heartbreak becomes a mirror reflecting parts of you that still need healing. It reveals your insecurities, your fears of abandonment, your need for validation. Without the separation, you would never confront these wounds. You would keep them buried beneath comfort. God allows pain because pain is often the only language that awakens the soul. Chosen one, you have to understand this sacred principle. Divine isolation is a signal, not a setback. When God begins to separate you, it means elevation is near. You cannot ascend while carrying attachments that anchor you to the old version of yourself. Separation is spiritual surgery. It removes what cannot survive at higher altitudes. Think of an eagle soaring into the sky. The higher it climbs, the thinner the air becomes, and not every creature can follow. In the same way, as your vibration rises, people who are not aligned with your purpose will naturally fall away. Their exit is evidence of your evolution. Some separations are abrupt and painful, others slow and confusing. But whether it's through betrayal, distance, or disinterest, each one is an invitation to return to your center. Instead of asking, "Why did they leave me?" ask, "What is this moment teaching me?" Every loss carries a lesson, perhaps patience, self-love, forgiveness, or surrender. When you embrace the lesson, the pain begins to transform. It no longer feels like something being taken from you, but something being given to you. Wisdom, maturity, and divine awareness. You see, God doesn't just separate you from people. He also separates you from versions of yourself that were built in survival mode. The heartbreak you endured forced you to discover strength you didn't know you had. The rejection that broke you became the reason you built boundaries. The abandonment that made you cry at night became the moment you learned to walk with God alone. Everything that left you was meant to strip away illusions of dependency so that you could finally see that you are never truly alone. When people leave your life, their absence often creates a void. But in the spiritual realm, a void is never empty. It is sacred space. What feels like emptiness is actually divine preparation. God clears out what's temporary to make room for what's eternal. The silence that follows separation is where transformation begins. It's where you begin to hear your intuition, where your discernment sharpens, and where your purpose becomes undeniable. That's why the chosen ones go through so many seasons of solitude, because revelation is born in silence, not in noise. You may not see it now, but every separation is a divine exchange. God takes away what you think you want to give you what you actually need. When you cling to what's fading, you block what's forming. But when you surrender, the divine flow restores what's truly aligned with your soul. You begin to see that letting go is not loss, it's liberation. Freedom comes when you stop chasing what's gone and start trusting what's coming. There is also a deeper spiritual reason why separations hurt so much. Energy never dies. It only shifts. When two souls connect, their energies intertwine. When that connection is broken, your spirit feels the energetic tearing apart, much like a physical wound. That's why heartbreak can feel like literal pain in the chest. But through prayer, meditation, and time, those energetic cords dissolve. What once hurt becomes a memory of grace. You begin to thank God for what you thought you lost because you finally see the protection in the pain. The separation phase is also where your spiritual power increases. When you are stripped of external attachments, you begin to rely solely on inner strength. Your intuition heightens. You start recognizing divine patterns, synchronicities, and messages that were previously drowned out by emotional noise. You stop seeking answers in people and start receiving them directly from the divine source. This is how chosen ones develop their prophetic vision. The ability to see through the spiritual lens instead of the emotional one. But you must remember, separation is not meant to make you bitter. It's meant to make you better. It's not designed to close your heart, but to open it in a higher, purer way. The pain of losing people should never harden you. It should purify your love, refine your compassion, and strengthen your faith. You are not called to hate those who hurt you, but to bless them and release them. Because when you hold resentment, you tie your energy to the very thing God freed you from. Forgiveness is not weakness, it's spiritual freedom. One day you will look back on every heartbreak and understand that it was never about them leaving. It was about you arriving at a place of peace, awareness, and divine trust. You'll see that God didn't take from you. He realigned you. Every goodbye was a redirection toward purpose. Every moment of pain was a divine invitation to go deeper into your calling. So, if you're in a season where people are drifting away, don't panic. Don't chase. Don't beg for closure. Stand still and trust that what's meant for you will never walk away. And if it did, it means it wasn't meant for your next level. The people who are meant to stay will find their way back, not by force, but by divine alignment. Until then, keep your spirit open, your heart pure, and your faith steady. Chosen one, separation is not the end of your story. It's the refining fire before your rising. You are being set apart, not cast aside. You are being elevated, not abandoned. The ones who left were never your foundation. They were your preparation. What God is building through you requires space, strength, and solitude. So, breathe, trust, and allow the process. Because on the other side of this separation lies clarity, restoration, and divine connection beyond what you've ever imagined. You are not being broken apart. You are being brought into alignment. The separation was never about who left. It was about who you're becoming. The energy of the chosen one. Chosen one, there is something different about your energy. You might not fully realize it, but your spirit carries a frequency that is rare and powerful. You are light in a world that is still learning how to handle illumination. When you walk into a room, energies shift. People feel something they can't explain. Some are drawn to it. Others are disturbed by it. That is the paradox of being chosen. Your light awakens others, but it also exposes their darkness. Your presence reveals what people have been running from within themselves. That's why some are inspired by you, while others distance themselves. They feel something divine in you, but they are not ready to face what that reflection brings up inside them. Your energy is not ordinary, because your purpose is not ordinary. The divine has marked you to carry spiritual insight, wisdom, and strength that most people cannot understand. Your soul vibrates on a higher level, which means that every interaction you have has spiritual weight. You don't just love casually, your love transforms. You don't just speak casually, your words carry power. You don't just forgive lightly, your forgiveness heals. And because of that, relationships with you are never neutral. They either awaken people or challenge them to the core of their being. This is why so many of the people you love end up walking away. Your energy becomes too heavy for them to carry. They start to feel uncomfortable, not because you've done anything wrong, but because being around you forces them to confront their unhealed wounds. Your presence acts as a mirror. You remind them of the truth they've been avoiding. They feel seen, exposed, and convicted. And when people aren't ready to heal, they run from whatever exposes their pain. You represent a higher vibration that disrupts the comfort of their lower frequency. It's not rejection, it's energetic incompatibility. Understand this, chosen one. The spiritual path is not about keeping everyone close, it's about keeping your vibration pure. The more your light grows, the more certain people will drift away, not out of malice, but because their spirit no longer resonates with yours. God elevates your energy for your assignment, not for your approval. You cannot carry everyone with you into your next dimension. Some people were only meant to witness the early version of you, not the ascended one. When your frequency rises, everything not aligned must fall away. It's a law of divine energy. And sometimes it's the people you love most who cannot handle your transformation. They loved you when you were smaller, when your light was dimmer, when your power didn't threaten their comfort. But as you grew in wisdom, as you began walking in purpose, they couldn't see themselves in your reflection anymore. So, instead of growing with you, they pulled away. You didn't lose them. Your energy simply outgrew their capacity. That's what divine evolution does. It separates you from what cannot expand with you. But don't let that discourage you. The same energy that causes some to walk away will draw others closer, the ones who are meant to be part of your higher journey. As you continue to evolve, your energy will attract souls who understand your depth, who don't run from your light, but embrace it. These are your soul tribe, the ones who carry similar frequencies, who are not intimidated by your growth, but celebrate it. The universe always replaces what leaves with what aligns. So don't shrink yourself to keep people comfortable. Don't dim your light just to make others stay. Let them go with love, because your energy is sacred. You are not meant to be understood by everyone. You are meant to lead, to awaken, to heal, and to elevate. Remember this truth, your energy is divine, and whoever walks away is simply making space for the ones who are truly aligned with your destiny. When love becomes a lesson, chosen. 1. Love has never been simple for you because your heart operates on a divine frequency. When you love, you don't just give emotions, you give spirit, energy, and healing. Your love awakens something in people that they often don't even understand. You see potential in them before they see it in themselves. You nurture, guide, and pour into them because your soul has been designed to give. But here's the truth that many chosen ones struggle to accept. Some of the people you love are not meant to stay. They are meant to teach. Every relationship you've had, every heartbreak, every person who came into your life and left unexpectedly, was a divine classroom. God uses people as mirrors and messengers to reveal what still needs healing within you. Some come to teach you self-worth. Some come to teach you boundaries. Some come to teach you that not everyone deserves access to your sacred energy. These lessons often come wrapped in love that feels deep and destined, and that's what makes them painful when they end. But the pain is part of the process. It's how your soul matures and becomes ready for divine connection. You see, love for the chosen one is never meant to be ordinary. It's not about romance alone. It's about awakening. The people who walk away are often those who were never meant to love you in completion, but to prepare you for a higher form of love, divine love. When God sends someone into your life, it's never by chance, but when He removes them, that too is intentional. It doesn't mean the love wasn't real, it means the assignment was complete. Their chapter in your story served its divine purpose. I know it hurts when someone you love deeply suddenly becomes distant. when their silence replaces their presence. It feels unfair, it feels cold, it feels like you've done something wrong. But in truth, God is protecting your heart from what your emotions cannot yet see. He removes those who would drain your energy, those who cannot grow with you, those who would anchor you to the past when He is calling you into your future. Your heartbreak is heaven's tool for redirection. When you understand love through divine eyes, you stop chasing closure and start seeking clarity. You realize that every ending is actually an initiation into a higher level of love, first for God, then for yourself, and eventually for the soul who is truly aligned with your destiny. Every heartbreak is an invitation to return to your own heart, to rediscover who you are beyond what you give to others. So don't curse the lessons that came through love. They were never meant to destroy you. They were meant to shape you. Each tear has watered the soil of your spiritual maturity. Each goodbye has refined your discernment. And one day, you'll look back and realize that every person who left taught you something your soul needed to learn before you could walk in divine union. If you've ever loved someone deeply and lost them, but found yourself stronger after the pain, take a moment and comment 777 below. That number represents divine completion, the ending of one cycle and the beginning of another. Because, chosen one, love for you will never be ordinary. It will always be sacred. And sometimes the ones who leave are the ones who taught your heart how to heal. God's method of elevation through loss. Chosen one, every time you lose someone you love, heaven is shifting something in your spirit. It may feel like rejection, betrayal, or abandonment, but in truth, it's divine reorganization. God uses loss as a sacred tool of elevation. Before every new chapter of your life begins, a cleansing must take place. Old energies, expired relationships, and stagnant attachments cannot enter new dimensions. When you pray for growth, God doesn't just bless you. He begins to remove what cannot exist in the atmosphere of your next level. That's why before every elevation, there is a separation. Many of you have cried, asking God why people keep walking away, why the love you give never seems to stay, why the very people you helped the most seem to disappear. But God whispers, because they cannot go where I am taking you. Some people are seasonal. They were assigned to the version of you that existed before your transformation. Their spirit would not survive the altitude of your calling. The higher you go, the thinner the air becomes, and not everyone has the spiritual lungs to breathe in that space. So, in His mercy, God removes them before they suffocate your destiny. When you lose people, it's not always a sign that something went wrong. It's a sign that something greater is being prepared. God cannot build on a foundation that's unstable. He removes what was built on emotion, on attachment, on dependency, so He can rebuild your life on truth, on strength, and on faith. Remember the stories in Scripture. Every chosen vessel was separated before being elevated. Joseph was betrayed by his brothers before reaching the palace. Moses had to leave Egypt before becoming a deliverer. Even Jesus walked alone in the wilderness before stepping into His ministry. Isolation precedes transformation. The same pattern is working in your life right now. When people walk away, you are not being punished, you are being purified. God is clearing the noise so you can hear His voice more clearly. You might think you're losing everything, but you're actually gaining spiritual clarity. Every goodbye is a divine filtration. It's God sifting through your connections to ensure only what's pure remains. Sometimes He allows pain because it's the only way to detach you from what you've outgrown. If He didn't let them leave, you'd never realize how strong you truly are without them. It's also important to understand that loss is a test of trust. God will ask you to release your grip on what you love most, not because He wants to hurt you, but because He wants to show you that He alone is your source. When you place your peace in people, He will allow them to shift, so your faith returns to Him. It's not cruelty, it's correction. The chosen ones are refined by surrender, and surrender is only learned through letting go. And sometimes God removes people quietly. They fade, they distance themselves, or they simply lose interest, and you're left confused. But what if that silence is God's protection in disguise? What if He's saving you from future heartbreak, manipulation, or distraction? You cannot see the full picture, but heaven can. Trust that divine orchestration knows what it's doing. The same God who removed them is also preparing the right ones to replace them, people who will love you from a healed space, not from need or envy. Understand this deeply. Chosen one, loss is the price of spiritual promotion. Every time you rise, something must fall away. You cannot carry old pain, old energy, or old relationships into divine purpose. The moment you accept this, peace will begin to flood your soul. You'll realize that every person who walked away actually pushed you one step closer to alignment. So instead of mourning the loss, honor it. Bless what left, forgive what hurt you, and thank God for what's coming next. The absence you feel now is the space God is reserving for your next blessing. You are not alone in this. He is right there, watching you endure, knowing that when you finally look back, you'll understand why every goodbye was necessary. This is His method of elevation. Painful, yes, but purposeful beyond measure. Emotional detachment as a spiritual tool. Chosen one of the hardest lessons you will ever learn on your journey is the art of emotional detachment. Not because you don't feel deeply, but because you do. Your heart was created to love unconditionally, to care beyond limits, to give even when others take. Yet, as you grow spiritually, you will realize that true love doesn't mean holding on. It means understanding when to release. Emotional detachment is not coldness, it's clarity. It's the strength to let go without bitterness, and the wisdom to stay centered even when everything around you changes. When people walk away, your first instinct is to question what you did wrong. You replay every conversation, every moment, hoping to find the reason why it ended. But detachment teaches you something powerful. Not everything that ends is a reflection of your failure. Some endings are simply spiritual completions. The contract between two souls has served its purpose, and no amount of effort can extend what heaven has already closed. Detachment helps you see this truth without resentment. It allows you to observe your emotions without being consumed by them. Learning to detach doesn't mean you stop loving. It means you start loving in freedom, not fear. You no longer cling to people to feel whole because you realize your wholeness comes from within, not from their presence. This is the maturity of the chosen one. To love deeply, but remain rooted in divine peace. To give without losing yourself. To care without craving validation. When your emotions are balanced, your spirit becomes unshakable. God trains His chosen ones through detachment, because it strengthens spiritual discipline. If every time someone leaves, your peace collapses, it means your peace was built on people, not on God. So He allows situations that test your emotional independence. You may find yourself isolated, misunderstood, or unseen, but this is divine training. God is teaching you to find stillness in His presence, not in the company of others. He is teaching you to operate from divine stability, not emotional reaction. In moments of loneliness, instead of chasing connections, turn inward. Sit in silence. Pray. Meditate. Journal. These moments are not empty. They are sacred invitations to hear God's voice more clearly. When you detach from noise, your intuition sharpens. You begin to see situations for what they are, not what your emotions want them to be. You stop forcing what's fading and start flowing with divine timing. Emotional detachment also breaks spiritual dependency. Many times the enemy tries to use relationships as distractions, to drain your energy, to keep your focus scattered, to trap you in cycles of emotional chaos. But when you learn detachment, you become untouchable. You recognize manipulation before it takes root. You see through false intentions. You sense when someone's spirit is not aligned with yours, and you release them with peace, not pain. This doesn't mean you build walls, it means you build boundaries. You can love someone and still say no. You can forgive and still protect your energy. You can walk away and still wish them well. That is divine maturity. The chosen ones are not meant to be emotionally enslaved. They are meant to embody divine freedom. So if you're in a season where God is asking you to release people, understand that He's not punishing you. He's positioning you. He's clearing the emotional clutter so your spirit can receive new blessings. Every time you detach with love, your vibration rises. Every time you let go gracefully, you align more with divine flow. You are not heartless for choosing peace over chaos. You are not cold for protecting your spirit. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you start trusting. You trust that whoever is meant for you will stay, and whatever leaves was never yours to begin with. That's the strength of the chosen one, loving without losing yourself, giving without expecting return, and walking away when God says, "It's time." Spiritual growth through pain and loneliness. Chosen one, there comes a time on every divine path when the light around you seems to dim, and all that remains is silence. It's in that silence that you often begin to question everything, your purpose, your worth, even God's plan. The loneliness becomes heavy, and the pain feels endless. Yet, this is the sacred classroom of your awakening. Pain and loneliness are not signs that you are forsaken, they are proof that you are evolving. Every chosen one must walk through this valley, for it is here that God shapes the soul into divine strength. You see, comfort doesn't create growth. Pressure does. Pain doesn't destroy you. It refines you. The loneliness you feel is not punishment. It's purification. God is removing distractions, teaching you how to depend fully on Him, and pulling your focus inward so you can hear His voice clearly. When everyone walks away, when no one seems to understand you, when the phone stops ringing, that's when heaven is doing its deepest work in your spirit. This isolation is divine surgery. God is healing wounds you didn't know existed and cutting ties to energies that could never sustain your destiny. The pain that you carry is sacred. It's the soil where your divine purpose takes root. The chosen ones carry an uncommon anointing, and that anointing is birthed in solitude. You can't become who God called you to be while still clinging to the comfort of the crowd. You must walk through the fire alone, because the fire reveals what's real. It burns away fear, ego, and dependency. When you emerge from it, you're no longer the same. You become purified, sharper, and more aware of your divine identity. Every tear you've cried has watered your transformation. You think you were breaking down, but you were actually breaking open. The pain didn't destroy you, it unlocked parts of your soul that comfort never could. Loneliness became the space where you met God without interference. You began to see how his hand was guiding everything, even the heartbreaks, even the disappointments. What felt like abandonment was actually divine alignment. He separated you from people because he wanted your attention, your devotion, your full heart. Chosen one. This season of pain is not permanent, it's purposeful. God is preparing you for the life you prayed for, but he must first prepare you to carry it. You can't handle the weight of your divine calling with an unhealed heart. That's why the people who walked away had to leave. Their absence created the stillness required for your spirit to mature. You are being strengthened in silence. You are being elevated through endurance. This is not the end of your story. It's the forging of your divine character. Pain is the teacher that breaks the illusions of who you thought you were. It exposes your fragility and reminds you that strength comes only from surrender. When you stop resisting and start trusting, something powerful happens. You begin to see pain not as an enemy, but as a messenger. It's through pain that God whispers, you are ready for more. Every trial, every heartbreak, every lonely night is molding you into the vessel he destined you to be. There's a sacred beauty in solitude. It strips away the noise of the world and brings you face to face with your essence. When you sit alone and breathe through the ache, you start to realize that you were never truly alone. The divine has been beside you in every tear, every prayer, every breath. That realization is where peace is born, not from people's presence, but from divine awareness. So instead of fighting the loneliness, embrace it. Let it cleanse you. Let it teach you to love yourself as deeply as you've loved others. Let it build your discernment so you never again give your heart where your spirit feels resistance. This is how the chosen one grows, through solitude, through silence, through surrender. Type 444 in the comments if you're ready to release the pain and step fully into your divine peace. That number symbolizes angelic protection and stability, the reassurance that you are not alone. Remember, every ounce of pain you've endured was never wasted. It was sculpting you into divine strength. The loneliness you feel is not the absence of love, it's the presence of God, preparing you for a love and life beyond what you can imagine. The return of balanced connections. Chosen. 1. After every storm there comes stillness, and after every separation there comes alignment. You have walked through fire, through heartbreak, through silence that felt endless. You have watched people you love turn away, and you've stood in that emptiness wondering if love was ever meant for you at all. But hear me clearly. This season of loneliness was never meant to last forever. God isolates only to recalibrate, and after divine pruning, always comes divine replacement. You are now stepping into a new era of your journey, one where the connections that come will not drain you, but sustain you. Where love will not confuse you, but confirm your purpose. For a long time, your relationships mirrored your wounds. You attracted those who reflected your unhealed parts, people who showed you what still needed mending inside your spirit. But now, after all the pain, the cleansing, the detachment, you have evolved. You have grown into someone who knows their worth, someone who knows how to give without losing themselves, how to love without needing to be saved. The frequency of your soul has shifted, and the universe is responding. You are beginning to draw in souls who match your vibration, people who see your light, not as competition, but as confirmation that God is real. These are not karmic bonds, they are divine alignments. When balanced connections return, they will feel different. There will be peace instead of chaos, effortlessness instead of anxiety, truth instead of confusion. You will no longer have to chase, explain, or prove your worth. Those who enter your life in this new chapter will recognize you instantly, not for what you can give them, but for who you are in spirit. They will speak the same energetic language as you. Their presence will feel familiar, as if your souls had already agreed to meet again after long separation. And that's because they did. Every balanced connection that enters your path from this point forward is part of your divine orchestration, hand-picked by God Himself. But before these new souls appear, you must understand something sacred. You cannot receive divine connections while holding on to the residue of past pain. Many of you still carry invisible cords to people who left long ago. You think you've moved on, but emotionally and spiritually, a piece of your energy still clings to them. This is why healing is not optional. It's preparation. God cannot send you new love into a heart still occupied by old grief. So when the loneliness feels intense, remind yourself that it's not punishment. It's cleansing. Your spirit is being emptied of what no longer serves it, so that new connections can enter in purity. The chosen one's love life has always been different because your love carries assignment. Your relationships are not ordinary. They carry energy, purpose, and generational impact. This is why the wrong people could never stay. Their spirit couldn't carry the weight of your calling. But the ones who are coming now, the ones God has aligned for you, will be ready. They will come with healed hearts and open spirits. They will not be intimidated by your growth or your light. They will walk beside you, not behind you or against you. Their presence will bring peace, not confusion. You'll finally understand that divine love doesn't take from you. It multiplies your light. You will also begin to attract your soul tribe, the spiritual family that resonates with your mission and vibration. These are not necessarily blood relatives or longtime friends. They are souls sent to assist you in your purpose. They will recognize your spirit before you even speak. Conversations with them will feel natural and freeing. They'll understand your silence, feel your energy, and stand by you in ways that remind you that true love exists beyond romantic ties. This tribe will uplift you, pray with you, build with you, and remind you of who you are when you forget. These are the people who will walk with you through the next chapters of your divine mission. When these new souls enter, don't sabotage their presence with the fear of loss. Don't project your past onto your future. The last season was designed to teach you discernment, not distrust. You now know how to recognize the difference between attachment and alignment, between familiarity and connection, between attention and divine presence. You no longer chase, you attract. You no longer beg, you receive. You no longer lower your standards, you honor your worth. That's the transformation the wilderness season created within you. This next phase of your life will feel gentler, but not because life gets easier. It's because you are now stronger. You have been refined by pain, and you carry a peace that cannot be disturbed by temporary chaos. Your heart will open again, but this time from wisdom, not from need. You'll love again, but from fullness, not emptiness. And you'll realize that real love was never about possession. It was about resonance. What is aligned with your soul will stay, because God Himself will sustain it. Remember, chosen one, divine timing is not about waiting. It's about preparation. You had to become the person your blessings required. The loneliness was your spiritual training ground. And now that you've learned emotional independence, the universe will begin to send you people who mirror that same wholeness. Two healed souls coming together create not dependency, but divine expansion. That is the essence of balanced connection, each one adding light, not taking it away. And when love returns, you will notice how effortlessly it flows. There will be no chasing, no fear, no constant overthinking. You will both move in divine rhythm, guided by peace. God's presence will be the foundation. You'll realize that this kind of love doesn't just feel good, it feels sacred. It's not rushed, not unstable, not uncertain. It's calm, secure, and spiritually grounded. You'll finally understand that love was never meant to hurt this deeply. It was meant to heal this completely. This is what God has been preparing you for all along. A love that mirrors divine balance, friendships that replenish your energy, not drain it, companionships that nurture your growth, not sabotage your peace, connections that align with your destiny, not distract from it. You've paid the price in tears, in silence, in separation. Now comes the reward. Now comes the restoration. Do not fear when these new connections appear. Allow yourself to receive without guilt, to trust without resistance, to love without fear. You are not who you used to be, and these new souls will see that. They will meet the healed version of you, the one who no longer settles for less than divine alignment. The ones who left taught you what love is not. The ones who are coming will teach you what divine love truly feels like. You are entering a season of balance, harmony, and restoration. God is returning to you everything you thought you lost, but this time, in its highest and holiest form. The connections ahead will not just fill your heart, they will align your purpose. The loneliness was never the end of your story. It was the beginning of your rebirth. You were never being punished, you were being positioned. Every person who walked away made space for those who were always meant to walk in. This is the promise of divine restoration. When God removes, He replaces. When He prunes, He multiplies. When He isolates, He elevates. You have graduated from lessons of loss into seasons of alignment. Stand firm in your light, keep your heart open, and trust that what is coming next will make sense of everything that once broke you. The same God who watched people walk away is now sending the ones who will walk with you. They will not come to test you, but to build with you. They will not come to drain you, but to pour into you. You are ready, chosen one. Your season of divine relationships has begun. Final revelation and call to awareness. Chosen one, everything you have endured, the heartbreaks, the loneliness, the silence, the sleepless nights, the prayers that seemed unanswered, was never wasted. Every tear you shed was a seed planted in the soil of your destiny. What you thought was rejection was redirection. What you perceived as abandonment was divine protection. What felt like the end was only preparation. God has been guiding your every step, even through the pain you didn't understand. You were never walking alone. You were walking through divine orchestration. The people who walked away were not taken from you by accident. They were removed by divine design, so your spirit could ascend without the weight of what no longer served you. This is the revelation many chosen ones miss. Pain is not the enemy, it's the purifier. Every person who hurt you, every door that closed, every connection that ended, was a sacred transaction between heaven and your destiny. Those who left carried away parts of you that were never meant to stay. And though it hurt, those empty spaces became sacred openings for God's light to enter. Without loss, there is no transformation. Without separation, there is no sanctification. God uses heartbreak to break illusions, to reveal what is true, to awaken your spirit to its divine assignment. You see, the reason you love deeply, the reason you feel so intensely, the reason your relationships cut so profoundly, is because you are chosen to experience life at a higher vibration. You do not love halfway, you love completely. You do not connect casually, you connect soul to soul. And because of that, your lessons are not light. Your soul evolves through experiences that touch the deepest parts of your heart. But don't mistake the intensity for punishment, it's divine molding. You are being shaped to understand love beyond emotion, to see love through the eyes of eternity. The truth is, every person who walked away was part of your initiation into spiritual mastery. They were sent to awaken dormant parts of your soul, to reveal your blind spots, to strengthen your discernment, and to teach you how to love without attachment. They were mirrors, reflecting both your light and your shadows. The one who betrayed you taught you boundaries. The one who ignored you taught you self-worth. The one who abandoned you taught you independence. The one who came and left repeatedly taught you how to release what's unstable. None of it was wasted. Every experience carved a new level of wisdom into your spirit, and now you stand on the other side of that pain, wiser, softer, stronger. You may carry scars, but they are sacred symbols of survival. The fire didn't consume you, it refined you. You are no longer who you were when this journey began. You have become someone who no longer seeks validation in temporary affection. You've learned to find comfort in divine solitude, peace in divine presence, and strength in divine timing. You've learned that love is not meant to control or bind. It is meant to liberate and uplift. That realization is what makes you unstoppable. Chosen one, this is your awakening. The veil has lifted. You now see that life is not about who stays or leaves, it's about who you become in the process. The people who walked away were never your loss, they were your lesson. They played their role in your ascension, and now it's time to bless them and release them fully. Forgive them, not because they deserve forgiveness, but because you deserve peace. Holding on to pain ties your spirit to the past and lowers your vibration. Letting go releases the energy that's been blocking your blessings. When you forgive, you free yourself. Take a moment and reflect on every person who came and left, every moment that shattered your heart, every time you questioned your worth. Realize that even in those moments of despair, God was writing the next chapter. The exits were not endings. They were gateways to higher awareness. The loneliness was not emptiness. It was space for new light to enter. The tears were not weakness. They were water that softened the soil for your rebirth. You were never being broken. You were being rebuilt. There is a point in every chosen one's journey where God asks you to stop chasing closure and start walking in clarity. You no longer need to understand why they left, why they changed, or why things ended the way they did. The why doesn't matter anymore. The who you became does. The purpose of the pain was to awaken you to your divine identity. And now that you've seen the truth, you can never go back to who you were before. You've crossed a spiritual threshold. You've awakened to your calling. You are not the victim. You are the vessel. You were never cursed. You were chosen. The heartbreak was not your undoing. It was your unveiling. Every ending carried the seed of a new beginning. Every loss prepared the ground for divine replacement. What you thought you lost in people, God is returning to you in peace. What you thought was stolen in pain, God is restoring through purpose. Every tear has been counted, and every wound has become a window through which His light now shines. So stand tall, chosen one. Walk with confidence into your next chapter. The old energy has expired. The cycle of loss is complete. You've learned the lesson. Now comes the reward. You are stepping into a season of restoration where everything you lost will return in divine form. The love that once broke you will be replaced with love that builds you. The friends who drained you will be replaced with those who pour into you. The opportunities that slipped away will be replaced by divine alignments that fit your purpose perfectly. This is not fantasy. It's the promise of divine recompense. But remember this: the key to receiving what's next is gratitude. Stop mourning what left and start thanking God for what's coming. Every closed door protected your destiny. Every goodbye positioned you for something greater. Every empty space in your life is now fertile ground for blessings to bloom. When you shift from pain to purpose, the energy around you transforms. Gratitude unlocks what grief has been holding back. Chosen one, your awareness is your weapon. You are no longer operating blindly in emotion. You are walking consciously in divine understanding. You now know that people leaving doesn't equal loss. It equals liberation. You've learned that the more you surrender, the more you align. The more you release, the more you receive. The moment you stop fighting what's gone, peace begins to settle in your heart like a quiet dawn after a long storm. Take this truth and let it echo in your soul. What is meant for you will never walk away, and what walks away was never meant for your next level. You don't need to chase what left. You only need to align with what's coming. The universe is abundant, and your Creator is intentional. The emptiness you once feared will now be filled with divine purpose, divine companionship, and divine love. If this message resonates with your soul, type "I'm ready for divine alignment" in the comments. Declare it with faith, because the moment you affirm it, heaven begins to move. Like this video, share it with another chosen one who is still healing, and subscribe if you haven't already. Stay connected to this community of light, because your journey is not over. It's just entering its brightest phase. Remember, chosen one, you are not losing people. You are finding yourself. You are not being abandoned. You are being appointed. You are not forgotten. You are favored. The world may not understand you, but heaven does. Keep your heart pure, your faith strong, and your spirit grounded. For what is ahead of you will make every tear, every heartbreak, and every loss make perfect sense. This is your season of divine awakening. Everything that walked away was never the end. It was the clearing before the miracle. So breathe, smile, and step forward. God has prepared something extraordinary just for you, and it's finally time to receive it.